Right, what are we going to make today, Lina?
आज ਅਸੀਂ ਗੋਸ਼ਤ ਤੇ ਪਾਲਕ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਨਾਨੀ ਦੇ recipe ਨਾਲ.
Yes, so we've got 2 kg of lamb out of the freezer in the morning. It's going to defrost in water and then we'll give an update of how things are going. 2 kgs of the lamb. We've got 2 tins of spinach puree, 1 tin of tin tomatoes, 2 onions, some ginger and some garlic. So that's the amount of ginger, palm, and 1.5 garlic. Now you want to get your Nutri-Ninja out, your food processor. There we go. And you want to chop. Now into this. So into the onions, ginger and garlic, add the tin tomato. If you use white onions, you actually need to brown the onions for a little while first. So just use red and it's just quicker and easier. So Mum likes it completely cleaned. Everything in. And then high heat. So full heat. And we're adding oil now. And it's an olive oil blend. Not too much. That much. Salt. That much salt. It's all in Daza, estimates. And we're going for 1 tablespoon. Crushed chilies, that going in. And let's see how much. And it's going to be 1 tablespoon. This is dry dhania. Coarsely grinded, 1 tablespoon. Now zira, again coarsely ground, and it's going to be a little bit less than 1 tablespoon. A little bit less than 1 tablespoon, half. And now haldi, so turmeric powder. And let's see how much. So a little bit less than a half, probably about half. That was about half. That's it. That's everything in. The summary of that was salt, methi seeds, chili flakes, ground coriander, ground zira and turmeric powder. All of that is now in on a high heat and mixing. A little bit of oil with the ginger, the garlic and the tomatoes that have been blitzed in the processor. So because today we're doing lamb, this is going to reduce down slightly and then we're going to add the meat. If it was sheep, you could add the meat now. You don't have to wait for this to reduce down. This is now on a high heat, just reducing down before adding the lamb because the lamb is more tender. Right, so the lamb sauce is nearly ready now. Nearly ready to add the meat. It's reducing down, not much water left. It's thickening. The lamb has been draining on the kitchen board. So the best thing about this method is that there's no cutting of onions, there's no browning of onions, and it's just quick. This is reducing nicely now. Just need to evaporate off most of the liquid. It's thickened up, most of the water is gone. So what's going to happen is the water from the meat is going to be more than enough anyway. The idea is to do things efficiently. 2 kg. And that's it. Then you mix the lamb occasionally just to get it hot throughout. Don't need to constantly mix this, just stir it occasionally and that's it. So the reason Mum is not putting the lid on this is because it's lamb. So she said that lamb is more tender, and as long as you've got it on a high heat and it warms through, just keep it occasionally mixed and it will just cook. If it was sheep, then she would have put the lid on and let it cook for a little while on a slow heat, on a slow cook, because it wouldn't have been as tender. So this, she's just going to keep it on a high heat, let it cook through, and then she's going to add the spinach. Just some loads of water. You don't really need to mix it. It's just heating through still. So all this water has literally just come from the meat itself. myself. Mum hasn't added any extra water at all. So this has to all completely just reduce down now. Super high heat, the highest heat. What she always does is wipes down her spoons with a spatula because she hates that duck noise that everyone does. And then she puts them in. Keeps it clean. Now I'm out in her garden and I'm gonna cut some dhania, fresh dhania in her little patch. There you go. Can't get better than that. Organic and fresh today. So the way to wash it is to literally soak it in water so that all the dirt comes off and sits at the bottom. And it's the easiest and best way to wash it in the garden. Still cooking through. Dry out, liquid is going, still on high heat, still mixing only occasionally, getting a bit splashy. So when the water is reduced down, we're going to test to see if the meat is tender. So nice. So we know the meat is now tender, super tasty, you can probably eat it on this, but we're going to add the spinach now. At this stage, going to add a little bit more oil, just literally a splash. The meat is now soft and tender. Added a splash of oil. That's what it looks like at the bottom. It's not stuck, no sticking. Meat's soft, so we're going to add the spinach. We've noticed that the KTC spinach is the best one because it doesn't have lots of water. So it doesn't suddenly have loads of water and you don't have to dry it off separately. It's actually very dense of spinach. So now I want to just keep stirring this again on high heat. It's been on high heat throughout. No slow cooking, all fast high heat. This will take a while to heat up again because the spinach was room temperature. Adding some dhania. So mixing it on a high heat now, cooking it through. This is now probably cooked, to be honest with you. Only mixed it on high heat once it heats through for about 5 minutes. You don't have to overcook spinach. It's pretty much done. Ready to eat. Again, have it with rice or with pranta or with roti, naan bread. And right at the end, Mum always adds a little bit of black seed in everything. That's a little bit of black seed, 1 tablespoon at the end, and then we're done.